Welcome. Thank you for joining me for this yoga practice for Capricorn season. If you're here in the Northern Hemisphere with me, we are at our Winter Solstice, so the darkest time of the year, the longest night. And we are getting ready to start a new year. So we are taking this energy into our practice. Go ahead and begin with your eyes closed or just softly gazing into the distance. And get into whatever is a comfortable seated position for you. If you'd like to support the hips with a block or a pillow, go ahead and bring those props into the practice. You could also lean against a wall if that feels more supportive, or find a different position for the legs. Rest the hands gently on the lap, and we can have palms face down for this practice. Capricorn is an earth energy, so we'll be grounding into our space, grounding into the body. And this energy is an ambitious opportunist. Capricorn seeks to use where it can, not to be implied negatively by any means. So I invite you to take this into your practice today, thinking about where you could be more ambitious, where you could seize opportunities. Let's begin with closing, sealing the lips. If you're able to breathe comfortably that way, we will be drawing breath in through the nostrils and out. This is a warming breath that I love to use in these cold months, again, if you're here in the Northern Hemisphere with me. It keeps the heat in the body, keeps the energy moving throughout. Now notice your jaw. If you're clenching or holding your teeth together, just relax the jaw. Let there be space between the teeth. Run your tongue along the edge of your teeth. First the lower, and then the upper, just gently feeling each one that's there, the space and grooves between. And then relax the jaw, relax the tongue. And bring awareness to the tailbone. Imagine the tailbone is rooting you to the earth. It is growing down through the dirt. And it draws nourishment from the earth. Feel the tailbone lengthening as it gently draws to the earth. And you may feel a gentle lifting in the front of the hips. This may automatically start to engage the core. If you're not, go ahead and give a little lift of the navel. Using the core to hold you and support you. And then back to the spine, the tailbone. And then imagine each vertebrae that is attached to the tailbone stacking up one atop the other. And just bring your awareness slowly up the spine, stacking the vertebrae, aligning the heart over the hips. Draw the shoulders back and down. Create a little space around the neck. And imagine the vertebrae of the neck also all the way up to the skull. If you're already feeling a little uncomfortable in this uprighted seated position, that's okay. If you need to make adjustments, try and do so. If you need support, take that. Draw a deep breath in and imagine it coming from the crown of the head. Imagine that it's traveling all the way through the vertebrae, down the column of the spine, down all the way to the tailbone, and then to the earth where it rests. And then exhale, bring that breath from the earth through the tailbone, all the way up through the spine, and exhaling, imagine that energy releasing from the crown. Take a few more breaths just like this, breathing in deeply and imagining the energy in the breath running down the length of the spine and to the earth. And when you exhale, imagine pushing that air, the energy from the earth up through the spine to the crown. And do this just 1 or 2 more times, breathing slow and steady. Good. Go ahead and gently bring the eyes open if you had them closed, or begin to bring them back into your focus. Take a deep breath here and open the arms wide, reaching out to the sides. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, and you may even go past the line of your trunk here, bringing those arms even back a little bit. Feel the front of the shoulders stretching. Continue engaging the core here. Try not to lose the integrity of the core, the spine. Good. From here, we're going to exhale, and you're going to give yourself a big bear hug, wrapping the arms around yourself, gripping onto your shoulder blades if you're able, maybe just to the shoulder caps, or maybe you only get to gripping elbows. That's all good. Go ahead and just wrap those arms as tightly around as you can. Maybe use those fingers to crawl a little bit further to the back. Good. Take a moment here and just feel your own arms wrapped around you. Feel the warmth of yourself. Maybe sway or rock a little bit if that feels good. Being mindful of the core and the spine. Good. Take another nice deep breath. Open those arms wide. Stretch through the chest and the shoulders. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good. Exhale. Again, you're going to wrap those arms around and you're going to stack opposite arm on top. So if whatever your natural inclination is, go ahead and switch that. And you may notice that this feels a little different. It's possible you don't get the same reach. And once again, just take a few deep breaths here, feeling your own embrace. Inhale, stretch those arms wide again. Open up the chest, the shoulders, reach back. And go ahead and release. From here, we're going to take a hip stretch. We're going to align our right shin to be parallel with the top of the mat, so they're running in the same direction. Your foot will be right here at the edge of your mat. And then your left leg, you're going to swing it around and try to put the inner of the knee and your inner thigh, so it's running along the length of the ground. And your calf will be at a 90 degrees, so think like a box here. And then you want to engage that foot so that the toes are pointing out to your side. Now take a moment and find what's comfortable for you here in this position. If you're not able to get those hips towards the earth, you might be leaning a little bit, that's fine. Just get into whatever version of this you can. And then we're going to lean forward over this shin that's in front of us. If you're able to, you can bring your forearms to the earth, or maybe you just bring hands. So this is like deer pose. This is similar to pigeon. You might feel that similar stretch in your right glutes and your leg, your hips. But the other leg here, we're really opening through this inner thigh into that adductor. And so the idea here is that you've got a 90-degree bend on each of your knees. So again, think about like the corner of a box. If it feels good here, maybe sway a little bit back and forth, working those hips a little closer to the earth. And when you're supporting yourself on the elbows, be conscientious that your shoulders aren't crunching up and crowding around your ears. So if you find this happening, really draw those shoulders down and be supportive of your own body. On an inhale, we're going to lift back to hands, and then we're going to walk those hands back behind and see if we can lean back a little bit here. Now you'll feel the stretch moving towards the front of this hip. And we're getting those hands planted to the earth if we can. You might feel a nice opening through your shoulders. Maybe you want to sort of rock the neck side to side if that feels good on the neck and shoulders. Maybe give it a little bit of a roll, especially if you find a tight spot. Give it some love. And then we're going to switch. So I'm going to just swing my left leg to the front, bend that knee so that I can switch the legs here. And we're going to bring that right leg out, just like you did on the other side. So once again, you've got a box, 90 degree going here and on the other leg. Remember to keep those feet engaged so that it's as if you were standing on a surface. And then we'll walk the hands forward, finding whatever distance we can get on this side. Notice how this side feels potentially different than the other side. Maybe you can slide that right hip a little more to get closer to the earth. If you're on the elbows, keep that engagement in mind here. Take a few slow, steady breaths. And then we'll walk the hands upright. Continue walking back so we can stretch out the other way. Keep the chest lifted and supported here. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in the shoulders. Again, maybe you want to rock that neck a little bit side to side, or a little roll. And then we're going to come back to center. swing that leg back around so we're coming into a comfortable seated position again. And then we're going to bring a little prop into our practice today. So if you need to pause, go grab a strap or a belt or anything that will help lengthen your grip. You'll see what I mean by that in a moment. So anything will do that is long, at least 12 inches, possibly a little bit more. Probably a little bit more than that, probably 2 feet. You're gonna start with your strap in your hands stretched out in front of you. You wanna get your fists to be right in line with your shoulders. So think about creating train tracks here, 2 parallel lines. And then you're gonna lift those arms all the way up overhead on a nice inhale. You may already start to feel a nice stretch here around the shoulder cuff. And if you need to, you can create more space by just getting some slack onto that, not slack, but sliding your hand down the belt. So you could be in line with the shoulders like we started, or you could be wider. And we're just gonna hold here for a few breaths. Inhale, really lengthen through the arms. If you're able to have your hands above your head, great. If you can push your hands a little further back so that they are behind your head, give it a try. Good. On an exhale, we're going to pull the elbows, pull the arms down, bending the elbows. And now we can widen our grip again, so I'm creating almost like a goal post here between the arms. Then your belt should be behind your head, okay? And you're gonna just try to push those elbows back, squeezing the shoulder blades. If you've never really stretched like this, this could be pretty intense across the chest. So take it at your own pace. And then we can do a little one arm straight and then the other, getting those arms behind us, if possible. And then exhale, go ahead and bring those arms back down. Hold on to your belt for a moment. We're going to use it again. I'm going to turn just so you can see how we're going to use the belt. So we're going to go into arms interlocks at the back of the shoulder blades. Now, some folks will be able to just reach those arms out and go ahead and grip those fingers together at your shoulder blades. Now, if that's not working for you, take your strap or your belt, grip it in the arm that goes high, and grab on with the other hand. Use that to help you bring those hands to the back. Now, once you're here, you might find that you can walk those hands a little closer, shorten that distance. I encourage you to find what works for you here with or without a prop. And we're going to take a few breaths in this pose. So we kind of opened up the chest, preparing for this. Our right elbow is high to the sky. The left elbow points to the earth. And then we'll release. Spin those arms out, create a nice wide reach. And then we're going to switch sides. So you may notice this side feels way different. Maybe one arm is a little tighter. For me, it's my right shoulder here, feels much tighter. It's a little harder to get that grip. Remember, folks, keep breathing. And if you're not able to breathe, find a different position where you can. Good. We're going to release the grip, slow and steady. And roll out those shoulders a little bit. Bring some movement in there if that was intense for you. I get it. For me too. We're going to roll out those shoulders. And then when you're ready, we're going to reach out those hands, slide into our tabletop position. Take a moment here, firmly press the hands to the earth. Make sure the hands and elbows and shoulders all line up with each other. Same with the knees and hips, get them in line. Press the tops of the feet down, press firmly into the entire surface of the hand, and then pull your navel in and up. Think about a strong supporting surface. Good. Take a few cat-cow here. Just starting to mobilize that spine a little bit. If it feels good, take a few stretches side to side. And then we're going to stretch out the left leg, toes curl under, and just get a nice stretch along the calf and the hamstring. Try to keep your center here when you do this. Make sure you're not leaning to the right. And then we're going to swing that left leg out so it's in line with the hip. Toes point forward to the top of the mat. And we're going to do some cat-cow in this extended position. Drop the belly, feel a nice stretching through the inner thigh, arch the spine to release. And take a few more cat-cow like this. Return to your tabletop position, and we're going to walk this left leg in so that the heel is now directly in front of my other knee. Okay, this is going to feel a little silly, but then we're going to swing that right leg so the toes point to what was the left side of your mat. So we're setting up for a kneeling version of our warrior three. We're going to rise up. And you should have created this sort of box space here between the leg and the floor. Reach those arms out wide. Send your gaze to your left arm. And from here, we're going to move into a gate pose. So if you have a pretty good strong core and you feel confident, then you can just go right into it by stretching out your left leg and just tipping down from that position. If you are not quite feeling that confident in the core, maybe you're dealing with some bad back problems right now, no problem. We're just going to get those hands onto the earth. Walk them all the way out to the other side, and then extend the left leg. All right, we're going to start here. The arms create a nice straight line, a T, one to the earth, one to the sky. And then lift that left leg. See if you can get it in line with the body. Reach that left arm forward. Gate pose.
Stay strong and supported through that right leg. We're really opening up for the whole left side body here. Take a deep breath. This is a time of new beginnings and gateways. Good. Go ahead and release. The time of the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere is a time to think about thresholds and passing into new space. From your gate pose, we're going to return back to our center tabletop. Slide that left leg back. And we're going to go ahead and do a vinyasa. So if you want to go do a full vinyasa, up dog, go for it. If you want to keep this a little more gentle today, we're going to go from the knees, lowering slowly to the earth. Lift into a baby cobra. Really engage the core here. Slide the shoulder blades down. Squeeze the legs together. Good. Exhale, release. Hands under shoulders. Exhale, push. Back to tabletop. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Stretch out the right leg this time. Maybe rock a little. Stretch that calf and hamstring. And then we're going to swing that right leg out in line with the hips. And we'll take a few cat-cow. Put the leg extended. Return to your tabletop position. Walk that right leg all the way up in front of that left knee. Swing that left leg to point to what was the right side of your mat. Come into your kneeling warrior 3. Send the gaze towards that right arm. Push your tailbone towards the earth, lifting the hips. And again, we're going to move into our gate pose. So you find your own way to your gate pose. Start here, arms into a T, one leg extended. And then we're going to lift and reach. See if we can get a parallel line of the body. Take a few deep breaths here. Keep your core engaged. And release. We're going to walk the hands all the way back. Step back. Find your kneeling plank or your full plank. You decide how you want to take this practice. And then we're going to curl the toes under, lift to a down dog. Take a moment here, widen the hands, make sure they're at least as wide as the shoulders or more. Press firmly through the entire surface of the hand, point those elbows behind you, turn on the lats, the shoulders. Lift the heels, bend the knees. Hips go high and the heart melts to the earth. Pedal out those heels, dropping one to the earth, lifting the other higher. Do a little bit of that. And then we're going to take a slow walk to the top of the mat, crisscrossing right foot to the left, left to the right. Getting a stretch through the hamstring and calf as we make our way slow and steady to the top. When you get there, we're going to take a halfway lift. You can come to hands on shins, hands on thighs, or maybe you just stay with hands to the earth. Either way, find a flat back. And then we're going to fold and hang ragdoll. Grip the opposite elbows here and just let the spine decompress. Take a deep breath and feel the thighs pressing into the abdomen. Bend the knees here as much as you need to, by the way. Good, we're going to release the hands, bend the knees, engage the core, root to rise, feel the spine, slowly unfurling, straightening and lengthening as you come to your mountain pose. Take a moment in mountain pose, feet firmly pressed. They are about hip width or together if that feels good for you. Lengthen the tailbone to the earth, lifting through the hips, engaging the core. Drop the shoulders down. Let the arms hang, palms face forward. Take a moment here, deep breath. Imagine the breath running from the crown down the length of the spine, this time through the feet and into the earth. Exhale, push that air, that breath and the energy from the earth through your feet, through the spine and the body, up and out through the crown. Take a few more deep, steady breaths just like this. As I mentioned before, Capricorn is a sign entering into a gateway. Even if you're practicing in the southern hemisphere, it would be your summer solstice. So it is still a gateway unto a new part of the cycle. Think about what chapters are closing and what potential new opportunities can be open for you. Set an intention here, if you'd like, for your practice, for how you can be ambitious in seeking and grasping and taking advantage of the opportunities, utilizing what is put in front of you. Good. From here, take a nice deep breath. We're going to reach towards the sky. Exhale, fold it down. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Deep breath. Inhale, root to rise. Reach high. And then exhale, hands to heart. Good. From here, we're going to go into a wide leg stance. In your wide leg stance, we're going to open out the feet, and the knees are going to be pointing out at angles. So not, of course, directly out to left and right. That's a little extreme, but we're getting kind of close, as close as we can to that. Maybe think like 10 and 2. So we're going to be able, what we want here is to go down into a goddess squat. So if you're unfamiliar with this pose, it's going to be lowering down with those legs staying wide. Now, you can make this easier or less challenging by keeping your feet relatively close together and lessening your squat.
however, maybe you want to go a little wider. Just be conscious of the knees here. We really don't want the knees extending past the ankle, okay? So we want them to be stacked or maybe even slightly angled in. So now that you have your setup here, get into your wide legs, star pose, reach those arms out. Now here we want to engage the glutes. We want to feel these inner thighs really turning out, the outer thighs really kind of rolling back, lifting the hips. Good, take a nice deep breath. Exhale, goddess pose. Drop the arms towards the earth. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, goddess. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. All right, we're going to turn towards the right side, pivoting this left leg as we go. So we're going to go into a warrior two. Pivot your right foot to be forward. Your left foot is out at your 10 o'clock. If this is your noon, this is your 10. Okay, so set that up so that your foot is just going out in this direction if those numbers don't make sense to you. Keep this hip nice and wide, really pulling it out to the right. Reach those arms out. Really engage the core here and really turn on these inner thighs. We want to feel them coming towards each other. Extended side angle. Lean to your right. We are not weight bearing with this right arm. It's just resting. Reach high with the left. Good. Exhale. We're going to rise. And then we're going to return to our wide leg pose. Angle those heels a little bit in, angle those toes a little bit out to support yourself here. Reach those arms out. And then we're going to take eagle arms. If you're unable to do the eagle arms, you can come into a bear hug like we did at the beginning. Otherwise, you can come into that pose. And then from here, we're just going to lift the arms, trying to bring those hands to clasp onto each other. If you can get here, but the hands don't quite touch, grab your belt and use it as a binding mechanism here. That will really help you with that grip. Don't hurt your wrists because you're trying really hard to keep your hands together. Okay, from here, your eagle arms, you're going to lift the elbows high to the sky. And we're going to exhale down into that goddess legs just like we did before. Keep those elbows lifted and exhale, squat. Good, we're going to do just one more. And then we're going to release. Let those arms down. Try to maintain your wide legs. If you need to release a little bit of tension, slide those legs together and keep this stance. And then we're going to open the arms wide. Bend the elbows like goalposts. Exhale. Again, we're going to squat down. We bring our arms together. And then we're going to open them up as we rise. Exhale, bring them together. Open them up as we rise. Good. Exhale together. Inhale. Okay, from here you can relax the wide leg stance. If that was becoming a lot for you, pedal out the feet, move those hips just a little bit, and then reach the arms out. So remember what we did before was the arm bind. We're going to do it again, binding the arms. Maybe you have a little more space and you don't need a prop this time. Or maybe you still do, and that's also fine. And then we're going to release. Lift the arms high to the sky. Exhale, fold it down. Go ahead, take your vinyasa, either full plank or
If you're keeping it slow and a little bit gentler with me, we're gonna go to kneeling. Baby cobra. Press up. Everyone come to down dog. Check your posture just like before. Elbows point behind you. Bend the knees. Bend the elbows a little too. And then we'll take a slow, steady walk, crisscrossing the ankles. Halfway lift and fold. Bend the knees, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to take a wide-legged stance again, and we're going to repeat that series on the other side. So we'll begin star pose to goddess 3 times. Keep the breath going. Inhale to lift. Exhale to come down. Good. Reach the arms out for star pose. Pivot to your left this time to come into warrior 3. Remember, line up the heel to the arch. Strong legs here. Extended side angle, reach to the sky. Breathe. And release. Inhale, rise up to warrior 3. Return to wide-legged stance. Reach wide. Come into that bear hug, this time left arm on top. Or switch whatever side you did before. Just do a different side now. Eagle arms. Remember, use that strap if you need it. And then 3 squats here. Inhale to rise. Exhale down. Release. We're going to return to our star pose. Bend the elbows. And 3 more. Open it out, and we're going to take that reverse grip again. Left arm comes high first, or just switch sides, whatever you need to do here. Release those arms. Step to the top of the mat. Reach high. Exhale. Fold. Take your vinyasa. We'll all meet in a down dog. This time, take it to the top on your own pace. Step, hop, maybe you continue slow, crisscrossed ankles. You decide here. Halfway lifts when you get there. And fold it down. Bend the knees, roots arise, come all the way up, reach high, hands to heart. All right, from here, we're gonna stay at the top of the mat, stay in the center, and we're gonna go into an eagle pose. So, we're gonna start arms wide, come into your bear hug. I'm gonna do right arm on top, so I'm switching from what I had last time. Lift that right leg. Find some balance here. And then we're gonna cross the right ankle over. And we're gonna come down into a little squat. So if you're unfamiliar with this pose, basically you're crossing your legs while bending into one of your knees. Your goal is to try to get your legs crossed this way, but if you're only able to come into like a figure four like this, that's also fine. So just find something that works for you here. So again, we're starting with arms bracing, lifting that right leg. And if you really can't balance right now, then you can just find a little support, maybe crossing the ankles, and you're still using both feet to support you. All right, for a full eagle pose, we're gonna bend into the left knee while we cross our right leg over top. And then we're gonna come into the full eagle arms just like we did before. Take a few deep breaths. Find something to fix your gaze upon. See if you can squat deeper. See if you can lift your arms higher. Good, release the arms. Unwind the feet. Come back to standing. If you need to or if it feels good, go ahead and walk out those heels a little bit. Move out those hips. And we're gonna go into our wide-legged pose from here. All right, in our wide-legged pose, we're going to point our right foot forward, and we're going to try to keep our legs straight. So you don't want to go crazy wide. You might go less wide than you did on your goddess pose. Reach your arms out like you do in your warrior two. This time you're going to reach your right arm forward as if someone is pulling your right arm. You're going to bend at the waist, keeping your legs straight. And then we're going to try to get that arm to the earth. Maybe reaching the other one to the sky. Coming into our triangle pose here. So our legs are straight, but we're not locking out the joints. So this is a big stretch. And then we're going to bend that knee. Come back into our standing pose. Face forward. Straighten out the feet to face forward. Widen the arms, bend the knees. Come into a forward fold. In your forward fold, you can just keep the arms out in front and come into like a tabletop position. Maybe you go a little wider with those legs. You want to keep your toes pointing in the same direction your head is pointing. Bend the knees a little so we're not locking the joints. And then maybe you can walk the hands back so they're in line with the feet. Maybe you drop the head towards the earth. And then we'll walk it out. And we're going to step forward and back into our down dog position. So find your way here. And then drop your right knee to the earth. And then your left knee is going to come right behind it. And what's going to happen is your ankles, your feet, are going to be crisscrossing or pointing in the opposite directions. So your right knee is down first and the right leg is pointing out to your left. Your left knee is just behind and the left foot is pointing out to your right. And then we're going to go back for our cow legs. So we're going to sit back. Again, if you need a little prop, pillow, bolster, something to support you here, you could bring that in as long as it's not too high.
And then in your seat, you want to just let the legs kind of do their thing. You can see, I'll reposition here for you, that my knees are stacked, one knee atop the other, and the feet are pointing out into opposite directions. You might feel a nice intense stretch along like the IT band to the hip over here, same on the other side. So you've got your cow legs crisscrossed over top of each other. We're going to bring the arms in here, reaching out, just like we've been practicing all session, gripping the hands together at the back of the shoulders. You may still use your strap if you need it, of course. And don't worry too much about what the legs do. If they kind of flop out and they splay really wide, it's okay. Just try to keep those knees stacked. You don't need to be in any kind of perfect shape here. And then we're going to unwind the arms, unwind the legs, nothing fancy here. And I'm just going to turn forward, come into your plank, and take a vinyasa. Meet in down dog. And find your way to the top of the mat. Reach high to the sky as we come on up. Hands to the heart. And then release those hands. We're going to step, we're just going to stay at the top of our mat for eagle pose on the other side. So we're going to reach into that bear hug. Left arm goes on top this time, or just switching whatever you did before. Left leg lifts this time, balancing on the right. Cross it over and squat down. Notice how I'm trying to hook my foot to the back of my calf. If you can, great. If not, that's fine. Wrap the arms, come into your eagle pose. See if you can squat deeper. See if you can lift higher. When you're squatting, engage the core. Find one thing to fix your gaze upon. And then we're going to release arms first, and then we'll go ahead and unbind the leg. Wiggle it out a little if you need to. Come into your wide leg stance, but remember, like medium wide, not your widest wide. And then we're going to rotate to the left this time, arms out. So our foot is, this right foot is still pointing forward, the left foot is pointing towards what was the back of the mat. And then we're going to reach as if someone is gripping onto that left arm and pulling us, but our feet are stuck. Drop that left arm to the earth. Lift that right arm high for triangle pose. Or pyramid pose. I always get these two mixed up. We're going to release the arm. Bend that knee so we can come up to standing. Point those feet forward, bend the knees, and come into your wide leg forward fold. Now again, we can widen out those legs a little more if we want. Try not to lock the knees here. And then we can shake it up a little, do something different this time than what you did the first time if you'd like. Sometimes I really love a twist here in my forward fold or my wide leg fold, so I'll just plant one arm and spin the other up to the earth. You also have the opportunity here to practice that inversion that we did the first time, getting your head towards the earth. You also have the opportunity to walk hands from one side to the other, getting a little side body stretch, getting a little
bit of a hamstring, extra hamstring stretch. Try out a couple or all of the opportunities that I've offered you. And then from here, we are going to go right back into our down dog position. Then we're going to set up for our cow pose, cow legs on the other side. So this time you drop your left knee down and swing your left leg towards the right side. Right knee comes directly behind the other, and the right leg points out to the left. Slide on back for your cow legs again. Let those legs just kind of do their thing. Getting those knees stacked up on top of each other is really the goal here. And making sure we're not sitting on this left heel, this left ankle. We don't want to be sitting on the heels or the feet at all. We want them to be out. All right, left arm comes to the sky, or right arm, switch whatever you did on the other side. And then we're going to release, let those arms down, let those legs swing out. And then we'll do one final vinyasa. So go ahead, take it or leave it. Everyone meet in down dog. And then we're going to bend the knees and come into child's pose. You can stretch those arms out behind you if that feels a little more relaxing. And then we're going to rise up. If you're able to, crisscross the ankles and just go ahead and sit on back. So we can get into a seated position, or find your way here however. Reach those arms out, those legs out in front of you, arms to the sky. Bring a gentle bend to the knees, point the toes to the sky, and then take a deep breath. Exhale, fold, reach towards those toes. See if you can reach them. If not, that's fine. You maybe get to the shins or just resting them on the floor in front of you. You can curl the tailbone slightly under, drop the shoulders, chest down, chin to chest. Inhale, lift, rise back up. Exhale again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, relax the legs. Bring the left leg in, right leg stays long. Reach to the sky, turn to face that extended leg. And then exhale, we're gonna bring the arms down, relaxing the shoulders, chin to chest. If you would like, you can reach that left arm to the opposite side, stacking it onto the right hand on the right side of the body. Just extending the stretch into the back a little more. Good, we're going to walk the hands back up, switch legs, reach the hands to the sky, fold down.
Good, we're gonna walk the hands back upright again. Bring those feet together. And we're gonna do a forward fold with our legs in this diamond shape or a butterfly pose. Pull the heels only as close as is comfortable. It doesn't have to be extreme. Lift and lengthen the spine. And then we're gonna lean forward. You can maybe rest those elbows onto the shins or thighs and help spread a little bit. While you're here, maybe it feels good to sort of just rub the feet a little. Chin to chest, relax the shoulders. And we're going to come back up. Alright, we're going to go into our half pigeon pose. So set up like we did earlier with your right shin being parallel, going the same direction as the top of your mat. And then we're going to lean onto the right hip, swing this left leg all the way back behind you. And then roll so those hips are facing forward and the front of your thighs firmly pressed into the mat. In your pigeon pose, if it feels good, maybe you come all the way down onto elbows. If you do, remember your support system. Maybe you come all the way down, relaxing totally to the earth. And then we're just going to switch sides. Swing that left leg around, swing that right leg behind. And then we're going to swing that leg back in front. All right, opposite of what we did before. Crisscross your feet and we're going to slide forward. Not even getting into a tabletop. We're just going to come right on down to the earth. So I want you to get the top of your feet onto the earth. Make sure those thighs and hips are firmly in contact. We're going to go into Sphinx pose. So we're using the elbows to lift ourselves off the earth as a prop, but we also want to engage the core. So keep that core engaged. Think about lifting and lengthening through the abdomen. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe turn the neck a little side to side. And then we're going to release this pose
We're going to go ahead and just roll over onto our backs. From here, pull the knees to chest and do a little rocking, rolling. Maybe this feels really good to massage the hips and the back, the glutes maybe. And then we're going to extend legs to the sky. Taking our waterfall pose here for our last active pose. In your waterfall pose, push the feet to the ceiling as if you were walking on the ceiling. Bend the knees a little if you need to. Try to keep those legs nice and straight. If this feels a little shaky or difficult to hold, that's all good. Do your best. Bend the knees. And don't forget to breathe. Good. We're going to bend those knees to bring them all the way back into chest. Roll a little side to side. Take a deep breath here. Give everything a little squeeze. And release. Come into your savasana. Extend the arms and legs. Gently close the eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. Relax the shoulders. Gently snuggle the shoulders under the body. Relax the muscles of the face. Relax the jaw. Part the lips and teeth. Let your breathing return to normal. Relax the hips and the legs and the feet. And of course, feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. We'll end practice by bringing some movement back into the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Roll a little through the wrists, elbows, ankles. Reach out, up overhead, full body stretch. And then we're going to roll to one side, rolling onto the right side. Taking a moment here in our fetal position with the knees bent, our head resting on our bicep and our left arm, our left hand pressing to the earth. I want you to reconsider this gateway or threshold we are moving through as we pass through the winter solstice and to the other side with a little more daylight each day. Press yourself up to a seated position when you're ready.
And we will close practice with one chant of Om. Reach your arms high to the sky, collecting, gathering, and cultivating all of the energy that you've created for your practice with your intentions and your body movements. Pull that in to chest, to heart center. And then from here, take a deep breath, and then we'll chant. Thank you for joining me on this practice. I hope that it helps you with this gateway of the season, and I hope that it helps you grasp and take advantage of opportunities at your door.